Hello and welcome, Essex County College family. Hola y bienvenidos, familia de Essex County College. This is the virtual cafe powered by Student Life and Activities. Today's episode number 55, can you believe it, is online versus virtual and Moodle tutorial. Now, there's a lot of confusion recently about the difference between online classes and virtual classes. There is some pretty humongous differences between the two and some similarities. We have an expert with us today to explain those differences. We have the Associate Dean of Online Education, our online learning guru, Dean Leigh Bello-de Castro. Leigh, how are you doing this afternoon?
I am very well, Joe. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, we get questions at Student Life all the time and across the institution from students who register for a virtual course and don't meet the expectations or think that they were doing great, but missed some classes and their grade suffers because of it because they thought it was an online class. Can you explain to our students the difference between online and virtual? And we'll start with online.
Hi, everyone. So the main differences between the virtual classes and the online classes, as some of you are aware, we have had online classes going on now for about 7 years. And those pure online classes, they are what we call our asynchronous classes, where the faculty member will assign discussion questions and assignments. All of your exams will be online, and you may or may not meet with the faculty member via Zoom or some other mode. Okay, and that's typically our asynchronous online classes. So because of COVID-19, we have obviously had to switch over to our virtual format, which now consists of your lecture time via Zoom and also your work via Moodle. So that's really the main difference between a pure online course, is that those online courses do not have a time associated with them. And the virtual courses or the synchronous courses have those times associated with them. So that's really the main difference. And the reason why we did it that way is, number one, we know it's been a difficult time for students, especially since March. But I think now, those students that were here in the spring and over the summer are kind of more acclimated to Moodle. So, that's been great. And I know we have a lot of new students that we've been trying to get to in terms of workshops and training sessions at the beginning of the semester and trying to help them out as best as we can. But once again, the main difference between a virtual class, which is a quote unquote synchronous class, that means that there is a time and day associated with it. So if we were to come back to campus, then you will have a time to go to. Okay, the online classes are designated as OL sections, OM, OW sections are all online sections with no course time associated with it. So those sections have a TBA under the hours. So I hope that kind of clears up those differences.
Thank you for explaining that to our students.
No problem.
So basically the main difference is an online class has no scheduled class time, but a virtual class does. Now, Dean Leigh, let me ask you this, since we are in the middle of coronavirus, what happens, let's say we start the next semester, the spring 2021 semester, let's say we start all virtually, that's the plan right now, all digitally, I'll say. The vaccines come out, distributed to everybody, and we are green lit to open the campuses back up in, we'll just use February or March as an example. What's going to happen to those folks that registered for virtual classes that were meeting at a specific time?
If we do, or if we are allowed to come back from campus, because it's not an institutional decision that has to come from the state of New Jersey, and we do reopen, then students that are in those virtual classes will have a classroom to go to. Because if you notice in the schedule, each and every single course in the spring schedule has a classroom associated with it. So we're ready. If the governor says we can come back and it's deemed safe, then there is a room and a time associated for students. And that's another thing too. You know, students are taking multiple courses, so we wanted to make sure, you know, that they also scheduled themselves, because we know that they have their own kids possibly at home doing remote learning. You know, some are taking care of their parents, some are working full-time, some are working night shift, part-time, whatever the case may be. So we also wanted to make sure that those same times that they would be here on campus would be online as well. But if we do come back to campus, then they would actually go into those classrooms that are already built and scheduled for.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. In the case that a student registers for a class for spring 2021, a virtual class that has a dedicated meet time on Zoom, and let's say they're maybe in their head, they're thinking, we're not going to be coming back this semester, so I'm good for this semester, and I'm going to go ahead and book this I'm going to go ahead and register for this virtual course, even though I'm supposed to be at work at this time, or I'm supposed to be taking care of my baby brother or sister, what have you, whatever the case may be. What advice do you have for the student that is planning on booking the virtual class no matter what, and then maybe stuck if we have to go back and can't attend the class?
The students need to be flexible, as do the faculty need to be flexible. If that's the case, and there is a possibility that your work shift might be changing or something is going on, then take that later class or take the pure online class. Because honestly, Joe, we don't know. You know, and whether the vaccine is out or not, it doesn't mean that the whole state is going to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's so difficult to answer, because I hear that question all the time. I think the best answer is to be flexible. And if you do register for a class, then talk to that faculty member and say, hey, listen, you know, my shift at work got changed. I can't make it, but I don't know. That's the best advice, is really just to communicate, you know. But if there is some way or inclination, then that something will change, then take that later class or earlier class, whichever one could accommodate that schedule. That's the best advice. Or take a full online class.
Like Dean Leigh just said, these times are changing every day, new restrictions, new news. So just stay tuned. Just keep your eyes peeled for resources and information from Essex County College in your student email. We will keep you up to date with everything going on. How about students who are taking online classes? Same scenario. Say we're allowed to come back totally in person in February and March, vaccines being distributed, whatever the case may be, just using my example. Will online class change for the student, or are they completely safe?
They're completely safe. They're totally online, because there is no time associated with it. I did ask the online faculty to solicit their classes, you know, to see what is a good time for them to maybe meet with their class via Zoom. So I know I've met with my class, I don't know, a couple of times this semester. We don't meet every week, you know, but the online instructors typically know that they're dealing with, you know, a different population. They work full time, you know, maybe they're a little older, you know, in age or something. So, you know, I meet, and I'll give you a quick example. I meet with my class at 7:30 at night on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, depending upon what's good for me and what's good for them. So, you know, it's, once again, it's communication and it's flexibility. So no, the online students do not have to come in.
We also have on the line, I don't know if he's ready or if he has anything to say, but we're going to check anyway. Oh, he already knows. He already knows. The Director of Student Life and Activities, Mr. Jamil Graham. Jamil, how are you?
I'm doing well, Joe. I just would like to say that was a wonderful explanation from Dean Leigh Bello-de Castro. It's very important that you understand the difference between what you're getting in with your virtual versus online courses. Because like Mr. Ott alluded to, you don't want to get stuck trying to pick a class just because you think you can squeeze it in while you're on your lunch break at work. All right. especially if things change. And then even if things don't change, you always want to be aware and present in your courses, right? You don't want to miss portions of those lectures. You don't want to miss the interaction with your peers. And then other than that, I'm ready for some Moodle.
If I can make a comment, it's good to see everyone's name, some faces. So glad you're here, and I hope everyone is well. Hello, Ms. Lopez. I apologize if I missed Dr. Bello-de Castro mentioning another difference, I think, which is important between virtual and online classes, is you knowing yourself as a student. How time management savvy are you, or how structured do you need to be? And that can make a difference in what type of course you select, what mode of learning you select. I know for myself, I'm not good at online learning because I need someone to say on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you need to be in this spot. Okay, so I need structure. I'm very distracted. So I know myself. So I just wanted to point out to students, when you decide which way you can go, if there's still an option, make sure you just take that into consideration. And if it was mentioned, I apologize, but I think it's important.
Is our audience more new students or returning?
Students, pop that in the chat or just shout it out. Are you a new student or are you returning?
I'm returning.
Returning.
Returning. Okay.
Returning.
Okay.
New student.
New student.
Okay,
New
so
student.
Dean Leigh, can you take us from the login and then just show us some of the basics and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. And then for the new students that are on with us, please note that I always hold a student workshop, a student Moodle workshop at the beginning of the semester or prior to the beginning of the semester. And I'll also be holding one next week for our winter intersession students. So I don't know if you guys are taking winter intersession or not, but there's also one next week that will go over everything step by step. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to obtain your username. Your username is typically, it's always the prefix to your email address, to your Essex County College email address, okay? So my ECC email address is bello-de-castro@essex.edu. Therefore, my username is Bello-de-Castro. Now, your password, your original password is your 6-digit date of birth, okay? Thankfully, my password doesn't come up on the screen because it's been changed. But the 6-digit date of birth, and you can change that in the system. So let me move this back over again. Now, this is what we call our site news, and you will see me posting on here. There's always new topics on here. This is about our winter intersession. So if you need a course or two, you can always register for winter. And you'll see you can go back over here into older topics. We did post in here about the student workshop. So over here is our student workshop recording. So this was a previous recording, and that's all you have to do is you just have to click on this piece over here and it'll take you straight to a previous Moodle workshop. Okay, so if you're interested in taking a look at that. All right, so these are all the topics that we covered previously under site news. Now, your courses, your current courses are going to be listed underneath. They will also be possibly listed over here on the side. My screen is always a little bit different because I have the administrative access. Your courses will always be populated over here under these 3 dashes. And some of you may have just received a video from me, or you will be getting a video from Institutional Research regarding course evaluations. So let me just show you quickly how to do that. For those students that are currently taking classes, this is what we call our dashboard. And your courses are actually underneath the dashboard as well. I have access to all of the courses, so my access over here is a mess. But you will have your all of your current courses over here. So we're asking our current students that are in classes to actually complete this survey. Okay, and it's very quick. That video will be coming out and everybody's getting that. So I just figured I'd throw that in there and show it to you while I have this time. But anyway, so your courses are going to be listed over here. I do teach, so let me just go into my template, because I don't want to take you into a course that has anything in it. But this is basically what an online class does look like, or actually the virtual classes, what they look like as well. They're going to start off with the measurable course objectives, and we have those listed there because we want our students to know, you know, these are college credit courses. They are going towards your GPA, or most of the courses, I should say, are college credit. If not, some of them are developmental credits, which is fine because we have students that could possibly be in math and English, and all of those are in a virtual remote format right now, which typically they would not be. Okay, online classes are pure online classes are college level and above, but because of COVID, we've had to go through, you know, all of our classes are now online. Okay, so the way it is structured is you have the various weeks, and we structured all of the courses with the lesson, PowerPoint lessons, discussion questions, assignments, and possibly a test in there. It really depends on the faculty member. I get a lot of emails and phone calls and inquiries in from students saying, my professor's giving me too much work. I can't do this all. It's way too much. So one thing I've always told the students is I don't have any control of that. What the faculty member decides to put into the course shells after the fact, that's on them. We have some courses that are very robust and other courses that are kind of like in the middle. So, and that's okay too, as long as they're meeting all of the standards. And I know, you know, Mr. Graham teaches as well, so he can even chime in on this if he wanted to. You know, for those of you that have me in class, I don't know who's here, you know, I kind of, it really depends on what's going on that week. But, you know, we do virtual presentations in an online format. We obviously do the discussion questions. The purpose of the discussion questions is to have that student-to-student interaction. So as you can see over here, this is my test, one of the test classes. And I started off the discussion question over here, and students would or will reply in this area over here. And I mean, I'm just typing in something and we're going to submit it. And that now creates the discussion thread. And this is where we get the student-to-student interaction, because we know, and I know this, and some of you are here as well, and we can't see you. We know that, you know, a lot of our students don't want to be on camera, which is fine. We understand that. But at some point, you know, if you're taking an exam, you really should be on FaceTime, on camera or on video for your faculty member to see. So, you know, while we appreciate you being here, we also know that we want our students to interact with each other, okay? I know when I'm teaching, and Jamil, you probably do the same thing, you know, I will call out my students by name and say, hey Joe, you know, can you tell me about, you know, the differences between a manager and a leader? And if you don't get back to me in time, I know you're doing something else. You know, so we want to make sure that you are engaged, and that's part of the reason for those discussion questions. You know, I apologize for it looking a little bit differently, but I really just don't want to go into my live class. As you can see here, there's a video listed here. There's PowerPoint slides. We have assignments listed in here. You have your EText. This is super important. Actually, I will go into my live class now so I could show you what the live EText actually looks like. So I also get a lot of questions from students. Why this course technology fee? How come I have to pay an extra $100? So first of all, the $100 course technology fee, it goes towards the access to your EText. It goes towards the access towards the supplemental materials that are involved with that EText, including Cengage, Norton, Connect, Wiley, your biology labs, your chemistry labs, all of that has some type of price associated with it. And believe it or not, and I know it may sound a little bit crazy, but these are some of the cheapest prices around for these ETexts, okay? As some of you are aware, and I will tell you guys this, you know, our books, our textbooks, as you know, are extremely expensive. So the EText is a much better option because it's more affordable for students. You may not have it in your hand, but it's much more affordable for you. And you know, psychology textbook, that's expensive. The biology textbook is very expensive. Some of the computer science textbooks are very expensive. So, you know, please understand that that cost associated with it is for the use of the EText. Okay, so let me just show you quickly what logging into the EText would be like. And also, I need to mention this. When you log into your EText originally, please, please, please make sure you are using your Essex County College email address. Because if not, they're going to ask you for a credit card number, and then you're going to come to me and complain that, you know, the publisher was, you know, requesting your credit card information. You need to use your ECC email address. And believe it or not, we have some students that are contacting me now saying that their everything expired. That's because they use their Gmail, their AOL, their Yahoo, whatever it is. So, you know, please make sure you use that email address. So let me just click over here. Typically, we've told all of our faculty to actually set up the link, and you'll see this little puzzle piece, and this is my textbook over here. And if we just click on it.
Leigh, we have a question in the chat, and they ask, when we finish a whole course, when we finish a whole course, do we still have an access to EText from that course, like after the course is over?
Yeah, I think it lasts 6 months. I believe it's 6 months. I think. I'm not too sure. You know, this, it's a newer partnership, so that hasn't come up yet. Okay. Yeah, we used to have, since our Follett bookstore took over everything, it's a different process for us now. So we're still trying to get used to it as well. Whereas before we had all of the contracts, so we were able to keep students in there. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. As I said, I'm getting text messages over here and my emails are blasting. So this is a Cengage product. This is what some of you, you know, if you're using Cengage, your tests are going to be in here. You know, other PowerPoints, your EText is going to be in here. Let me navigate over here. Here's our full EText book. And just move you over. Yes, I teach the Business 207 Leadership course. You guys can take me in January. How was that for a plug? Hey, why not? Get it in there, right? So anyway, so you could just navigate through the textbook, and the textbook is, you know, it's here for you. You can flip through it. You can go up here. All of the textbooks, whether it's Norton, McGraw-Hill, Cengage, Wiley, whomever it is, you can actually go to, if you know that you have work to do on page 21, you can actually type it in, you know, in the go-to section and do a quick search. You can click on here, and it'll give you the key terms. And then you just scroll and navigate through here. Okay, very easy, very simple to do. And you know what, the EText is sometimes so much better because you have access to it from your cell phone, you have access to it from an iPad, from a PC, you know, so there's various different things. And then in order to get back to Moodle, you just go over to the other tab. Okay, let me go back into, I know there's a lot of bouncing around because I do have grades in here and I don't want you guys to see those grades. Because that would be unethical and we don't want to do that. So let me just make sure that this is the one. Let's do this. This class hasn't started yet. So I'm also teaching the winter intersession course. So if you're ready, Okay, so your grades are also available to you, and hopefully your faculty members are putting your grades in there, and that's very important. This way you know where you stand in your class. So in order to access your grades, you're going to go over here to the left-hand side, click on these 3 dashes and scroll down, and you just go over right over here to the gradebook. Okay, this is okay because there's nobody in here now. So there's no grades in here, but these are students in the class. And your grades will be listed. And the only thing you have to do is scroll over and your final grades will appear. Okay, where it says course total, and you can actually see everything, you know, that has been graded. You also have your own personal grader report, and that's accessible through here as well. And if you just click, I mean, I could show you what it looks like. So this is everything, and once again, this is okay because there's no grades in here. This class hasn't started yet, but your assignments will pop up, your grades will pop up, and the feedback will pop up as well. Okay, so you can always check on that. Another thing that I should mention while I'm here, we did just subscribe to Respondus Lockdown Browser, so some faculty are using Respondus Lockdown Browser for exam integrity. And there are instructions, and the faculty members that are using it have sent it out to those to their classes, so that's extremely important to know. And basically what Respondus Lockdown Browser does is it shuts down any other browser tab being opened. Okay, some of the faculty are using Respondus Monitor, which means that you have to have a webcam associated with it. So that's new to the college, so some are using it, others have not used it yet. Another product that we do use for integrity of papers is Turnitin, so that's extremely important to know. And Turnitin is our plagiarism software. So a lot of you may be asked to upload your papers into Turnitin, and it's the same way as uploading an assignment. It's very easy to do. Most of this stuff is drag and drop, so you can just take a file and drop it into the submission box. Okay. Are there any other questions, or am I going too fast, or?
No, it's great. We have one question in the chat for you. They said, I have not been able to view my textbook yet. It tells me I can only do so when I'm done with orientation. Is there a Moodle orientation?
I'm a new student.
Okay, new student. Thank you,
Yeah,
Amelia.
the orientation is not ready yet. You should have received an email from me. When
Yes, I did on the 21st. Scheduled for 21st.
So your classes are for winter intersession, correct?
Yes, I'm taking one for the winter and then the spring too.
Nothing's ready yet. That's why. So if you would, the
because
email.
I've been trying to look for something to read ahead just to stay ahead of the class, so I can
No.
send text.
No. If you read the email, you know that the student orientation opens up on December 16th, and you will not have access to only for the winter. The spring courses are not ready. The winter courses will be ready. You'll have access to that on December 16th, which is, I think, a Wednesday. And if you join me on, I think Monday is the
December 14th.
There you go. Yeah, you see, you know it better than me. So yeah, it's not ready yet.
Amelia, you are on point, Amelia. You are on point.
Thank you.
Yep, you're on point. And you're here with me, and you'll be seeing me again on Monday.
Looking forward to it.
Are there any other questions? Or?
Yes, hi.
Professor?
How is everyone today?
Good, how are you?
Good. My question was more of a technical question. As someone who normally goes in and does my own registration, because I know what classes I need to take already, because I have the course curriculum, so on and so forth. What codes should we be looking for so that we know whether it's an online class or an asynchronous class?
Okay, so the online courses are listed as OL, OM, OW. Any synchronous course has a time and a day associated with it. Those are our regular courses. So it'll say 001, CWC, CW1, LS1, LS2, OBC. Those are legitimate, synchronous, virtual courses that you would be coming onto campus with. The online courses, it's everything else. It's OL, OM, OW. Those are the pure online designations.
Thank you so much for your clarification, because I know some students, I think that's where they're making their biggest mistakes. They're looking at the classes and the class schedules and the times and the professors, but they're not looking at the codes to see what kind of class it is, and may not even realize the difference between what they're signing up for, and then they end up with an asynchronous class where they're looking for an online class. Because I know I've had a few students come out and ask, I'm stuck in this class, what should I do? This is not what I thought it was. I wanted an online class. It ended up with an asynchronous class.
Yeah, and you know, we put that out. If we go back to, you know, in all of my communications to the students, beginning in February or March, I guess, you know, we did put this out there in terms of the actual section codes. You know, so that has been communicated, what the OL, the OM, the OW stand for, how they're online, and everything else. So it's out there. It's just a matter of what you read and what you don't read. Okay, it's even on where is it? It's even on the site news. So this letter is generated for all students, for all courses. And as you can see over here, the first thing that I discuss when registering for fall classes, or now it'll be spring classes, you'll get the same letter. Here are some of the sample section codes. These are synchronous courses. Okay, and then these are the online section codes, and then here's the definition.
Okay,
Okay,
this is great, because we also have a question in the chat asking what's the difference between OM, OL, and OW?
Okay, so the difference, OL is our regular start courses. OM is the late start, or are the late start courses, and OW, we started using that designation for the West Essex sections of online. Okay, HY is a hybrid, and HW are hybrid courses specifically at West Essex. So the only thing different in those section codes for online, the OM, that's a late start, or a fall 2 or spring 2, however we're designating it. Okay, but yeah, so this letter goes out to each and every single student that does register, and it does explain, you know, the differences between the various section codes. It also explains, here's a video, okay, you can check out our YouTube. Okay, there's our video on how to get in. Here's where we talk about the $100 course technology fee and what you can or can do. I also give you the dates for the orientation, and you will not. So for those of you that are in here, if you're taking a winter course or you're taking the spring course, even though you pass that orientation early, your course materials are not going to open up until the day the class starts. Okay, so understand, you know, so if you guys are taking winter intersession courses and you pass your orientation on December 16th, you're not going to be able to see your courses until December 21st, or the materials in the course, I should say, until December 21st. Okay, that's at 8 o'clock in the morning, I think we have it set for. All right, so this letter goes out. I even give you a checklist for students prior to the first day of class, on the first day of class. And we always communicate with your professor and your classmates regularly. Okay, it's all about the communication. And there's various ways to communicate with your faculty member. For those of you students that are new, you're going to be getting, or if you haven't gotten it already, you're going to be getting this letter, and it tells you how to log into Moodle. and it gives you kind of like a quick little breakdown. Here's some digital textbook information. Some of you may be receiving emails in from Brightwave or Red Shelf for these various courses over here. Okay, so that'll tell you how to access it. This will tell you how to log into web services, log into your email address. And I do want to mention, let's talk about your email addresses. Please make sure that you, when communicating with faculty or anybody from the college, any kind of official college business, that you are using your Essex County College email address, okay? Because that's the only way that we will communicate with you. If you are responding to an email, because when we go into Moodle messaging, right, we send the class a Moodle message, and it goes to Moodle and it goes to your email address. If you respond, it's going to respond to no reply at moodle.essex.edu. Okay? You need to reply back to your professor in Moodle, not via that automatically generated email. I get a lot of students that say, my faculty member, they're not contacting me back. They're not getting back to me, because it's not going anywhere. It's sitting in cyberspace to a no reply. Okay, so make sure that you are replying back and forth via Moodle messaging or totally through email, okay, directly to a legit email address, not Moodle administrator, not no reply at moodle.com. It should be going to your faculty member.
We have another question in the chat. They would like to know, is it just the winter intersession where you can only access the course material the day the course opens, or is that a typical thing with all
Every
classes?
semester.
Okay.
It's typical.
Leigh, we have a question in the chat. They're asking, so for Psychology 101, I see the code RS2. What does that mean? Will this be a virtual class?
No, that's a winter session.
Okay, so RS2 signifies...
RS1, RS2, RSA, RS3, those are winter intercession courses. Here's our winter intercession card, online winter intercession. The letter went out to students, once again, that explains that this is a virtual session. I met with the faculty yesterday, so they are fully aware that they have to meet for all 15 sections. You have to meet for all 15 sessions for this. Okay, because this is the equivalent of one semester jam-packed into about 2 to 3 weeks.
Let's say, for example, if I want to go to the library, so the library not open, like and the like learning center also like physically not open also.
During the winter or during the spring?
During the winter and the spring.
No, winter session, the college is closed until January 4th is when we reopen. The library, I do not think is open, but the Information Commons is opened.
Okay, so we don't have to buy and to purchase any book for classes. We don't have to.
No, the books are all going to be digital, and it's a part of your tuition with that $100 course technology fee.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I already registered for winter. I'm sorry because I came late. I didn't know everything like they say. So
you can register for winter online through web services.
I did it already, but I did it came winter and spring. So I did I would say all my classes.
It's okay. It's a part of the spring term. That's why it's winter. As long as you have an RS 1, 2, 3 or RSA next to the section code, you're registered for a winter session.
There's a question in the chat. They would like to know, what is the typical length of a winter class?
So the winter intersession, we changed it. It used to be, it was 10 days, 4 hours per night. Now we're at 15 days, 2 hours and 40 minutes per night.
We have a question in the chat. Why is Mr. Graham so handsome? Yeah, we don't know, students. Jesus hooked him up. That's all we know. Thank you for tuning into the Virtual Cafe today. We hope a lot of your questions were answered about the difference between online and virtual learning, and also our Moodle situation. Thank you to our very, very special guest. This is Guru Dean Leigh Bello-de Castro, Associate Dean of Online Education at West Essex. Dean, thank you for joining us today.
No problem. Good luck, guys.
We hope you are all doing well during this time. Please stay safe and stay warm, and we will catch you next time. Take care.